Welcome in. This is a segment from the Slumpbuster FFB Podcast with Aris Blakeney. Find the full episode on Spotify, iTunes, the Google Play Store, or our YouTube channel. Enjoy.
All right, guys, we're going to head into a new segment, trade calls. I'm going to tell you a couple people I think you should trade away and some people you should trade for. So let's just hop right into that. Trade away. Stefan Diggs. If you can get some value for him, trade him away. I don't like the volume that Minnesota is putting out through the air. Thielen is the guy to own there, so if you can, trade him away for equal value. Maybe if you're hurting on running backs and somebody's hurting on receivers, maybe I could swap, but trade him away. Trade John Ross away as well. AJ Green is coming back in a couple weeks. He's injury prone. He had 2 blow-up weeks, 1 off week. If he has another blow-up week next week, definitely trade him away because once AJ Green comes back, he's going to kill it. Also, trade away Joe Mixon. It's not been a very good year for him. I don't know if they can. He was drafted pretty high. You're not getting that return back. I would trade him away. People I think you should trade for, AJ Green and Lev Bell. Pretty self-explanatory. AJ Green's going to come back. He's always been a top 10 receiving option when he plays. Trade for him. And then Lev Bell, somebody might be stupid enough to trade him away because once Darnold comes back, he'll be back in that option or back in that conversation for weekly RB1s. All right, so let's hop into the final little bit of the podcast. Some waiver wire options for you guys. Remember, next week is the first week of bye weeks. We have the 49ers and the Jets on bye week. Not really hurting for anybody just yet, but those 2 teams are on bye week, so if you have any of those players, make sure you sit them. You don't want to be that guy in your league that forgets and plays a bye week player. But some players you could pick up, some QBs. Let's go with Case Keenum. Has a favorable matchup next week. Daniel Jones. Looking pretty good. And then Kyle Allen. Or even Josh Allen. Either of the Allen quarterbacks. I'd probably put $2 to $5 on either of these guys. Juju says he'd probably put 10% or 25% on Daniel Jones or even Will Goldman. So, I tend not to like the auction portion of fantasy. I also don't believe on spending a bunch of money. If I were in one of those on just a 1-week guy, I want to have a guy that I can count on, down the line. But Will Goldman, who we'll talk about here in a second, is going to garner a lot of money. So I'd probably put $2 to $5 on all of the quarterbacks. Running backs, though, let's get into those guys. Justin Jackson. Chargers play the Dolphins next week. Hopefully, Chargers have a good game, but I have a feeling just because I know my team that we're going to Charger and we're going to lose to the freaking Dolphins. I already know it. Jamal Williams I'd pick up as well. He's moving into a timeshare with Aaron Jones. He outperformed Aaron Jones today. Even though Jones had the 2 touchdowns, Jamal Williams looked like the better back. Jeff Wilson Jr., like I said, he's the vulture, as we're calling him. He's the goal line back there in San Francisco, and you might actually be able to sneak him past waivers and pick him up as a free agent after the waiver period, especially since they're going to be on bye week. People tend to only look at projected points for the next week, and since he's going to have 0 projected points for the next week, hey, you might not have to pay anything for him. Most of those guys are going to be right in between that $2 to $10 range. Goldman, he's going to probably garner $10 to $20 out of your bank because now he's the go-to guy. Usually when a big name running back goes down, their backup is usually, garners a lot of attention. Receiver-wise, Hardman or Robinson in Kansas City. Like I said, they're playing that Tyreek Hill position pretty well. I'd probably put $10 to $15 on them. Chark, you got to go with Chark, man. He's the go-to guy right now in Jacksonville. I like him. His dances are super weird in the end zone, but whatever. I'd probably go about $9 range for him. And then Aguilar. This one's going to be tricky because if Deshaun Jackson plays next week, you spent $10 on a guy who's going to be sitting the bench. So buyer beware with him. Watch out for Deshaun Jackson. Keep an eye on him as well. Tight end wise, Lance Hendrick. Look for him. He's the Chargers tight end. Hunter Henry is out. Virgil Green is out. So now Hendricks is going to be the guy. Philip Rivers loves throwing to tight ends. Him and Gates have the most touchdowns between a quarterback and tight end combo, and the second most touchdown combo of any quarterback receiving option duo in the league. So he loves throwing to tight ends. He loves throwing to Hunter Henry, but Hunter Henry and Virgil Green are both going to be out. So look for Lance Kendrick. And then Jason Witten. This is just because, tight end position is so slim. He's going to get you at least 3 points. He can even get you upwards of 12 points. So look for them. I'd probably put $5 on them as well. And then guys that you probably don't need to put waiver wires on, but definitely you want to handcuff, is going to be Tony Pollard and Alexander Battinson. Get ahead of injury, especially Dalvin Cook. He tends to be injury prone, so Mattinson would be a good option for you. Pollard had 100-yard running, and he was possibly going to be, the solo guy if Zeke held out into the season. So if you want to get ahead of any waiver claims that might happen if there is an injury to Zeke or Cook, definitely pick up either Tony Pollard or Alexander Mattinson.